After initial viewing, A History of Violence may seem like another mysterious man with a particular set of hidden skills gets pulled back into his old life, a story told hundreds of times. A History of Violence is much deeper than that. Questions about violence are constantly asked throughout the film. Is a once violent person doomed to return to their old ways no matter how hard they try to put that history behind them? Is violence genetically transferred? Are human beings inherently violent? How can we get rid of violence? The film asks more questions than it answers, and I'm totally fine with that. For the sake of time, I want to focus on the first two. A History of Violence was loosely adapted from the graphic novel of the same name. The initial script for the movie was described by Mortensen as, quote, quite disappointing. It was 120-odd pages of just mayhem. Kind of senseless, really, end quote. He only agreed to do the movie after meeting with Cronenberg, who, according to Mortensen, reworked the script to the film you see today. A History of Violence calmly opens with the introduction of Uncle Leland and Nephew Billy on a road trip, only to reveal that they are spree killers who just viciously and calmly executed the motel workers and their family, one victim being a little girl. I will say, hearing this little girl's whimpers right before she's murdered gets me every time. This movie does not screw about. The film then cuts to kindly family man and diner owner Tom Stall starting his day. Played by Viggo Mortensen, hot off his success as Aragorn in Lord of the Rings trilogy, in a stellar career move that shows off his range as an actor. Stahl is a friendly, well-respected, and well-known person in Millbrook, Indiana. Jack, his son, catches the final out in a baseball game off local bully Bobby, who confronts him in the locker room wanting to fight. Jack calmly diffuses the situation with humor, frustrating Bobby, making him back down, though clearly humiliated himself. At the end of the day, Tom and his wife Edie, home alone, decide to make love. A really funny, touching, and wonderful scene that shows the mutual love they have for one another. Jack hangs out with his girlfriend Judy, while Bobby watches them plotting his revenge. He almost crashes into a red truck, only to back down, clearly spooked, when the passengers give him a death glare. Leland and Billy are flat broke and decide to stop at Tom's diner at closing time, holding everyone at gunpoint. Tom tells the duo that they are welcome to the cash in the register. Right as Billy is ready to kill the waitress, Tom knocks Leland down by smashing a coffee pot against his head, taking his gun, and swiftly killing Billy. Leland stabs Tom in the foot and is shot in the head, dying painfully. The event reaches national news, and Tom is hailed a hero by all. The following morning, Edie helps Tom at the diner when three well-dressed men walk in. The man in glasses calls Tom Joey multiple times and mentions that good coffee is hard to find in Philadelphia, something he believes Tom should know. The man, Carl Fogarty, takes off his glasses, revealing a milky eye. He states that Tom Stall is Joey Cusack from Philadelphia. Fun fact, Viggo Mortensen was laughing uncontrollably in this scene, causing multiple takes, so Ed Harris decided to take his pants off to make it more difficult for him. Edie calls Sheriff Sam Carney, who pulls the three men over, warning them not to come back, though Fogarty does not seem fazed. The sheriff reveals that these three men are organized crime from the East Coast. He asks Tom if he is in a witness protection program, which he denies. Carney reveals that although he found no mention of a Joey Cusack, he found a Richie Cusack, head of a crime syndicate in Philadelphia. The constant stalking by Fogarty and his men strains the family's relationship. Now, before I go on with this review, I would like to give a major shout out to the costume department, who put Maria Bello in a wonderful translucent pair of pajama pants and shirt. Thank you. At the local mall, Fogarty begins to put questions into Edie's mind about her husband, all things she does not believe. At school, Jack snaps and violently beats Bobby and his buddy into a hospital bed. After having an argument with his father, resulting in a slap in the face, Jack runs out of the house, only to be captured by Fogarty and his men. Fogarty demands that Tom returns with them to Philadelphia in exchange for his son. When Charlie pulls a gun on Tom, who refuses to leave, he breaks his arm and smashes his nose into his skull. He shoots Frank, only to be shot by Fogarty in the shoulder. Right before Fogarty's about to kill him, he says,
I should have killed you back in Philly.
Jack sneaks up on Fogarty and shoots him in the back with the family shotgun. At the hospital, Tom reveals the truth. His real name is Joey Cusack. He is from Philadelphia, and he was a member of the Irish mob, but decided to leave and create a new life for himself. His family life becomes increasingly more strained. Joey and Edie lie to the sheriff, resulting in the latter breaking down in tears. In a fit of mutual rage, Joey and Edie have hateful sex on the stairs. Of course, I have to use a polite euphemism. Again, shout out to the costume department. Thank you for your service. That evening, Joey gets a call.
Hey, Brohim. You're still pretty good with the killing.
and leaves for Philadelphia, arriving at his brother's house in an Escalade. Escalade, official sponsor of the Irish mob. He finally reunites with his brother. Joey's past and recent violence has stunted Richie's advancement in the mob, a job he was a shoo-in for. Joey tries to make peace, but Richie orders his man to kill his brother. Joey easily kills all the henchmen, including Richie. Joey cleans himself up and returns home. He has a plate set for him by his children for dinner. Joey shares a long look with Edie as the film ends. Cronenberg again skillfully depicts violence through gory prosthetics, shocking the audience while never making it campy or over the top. Casting is stellar. Stephen McHattie and Greg Burke, despite their limited screen time, perfectly played Leland and Billy. I've seen plenty of movies where the actors playing killers try to act crazy or are overly loud or evil. If the film had not revealed them to be killers, you would expect them to be just two normal guys on a road trip. Despite this being his first movie role, Ashton Holmes does a great job playing Jack, initially calm and passive to monstrously violent. I'm really glad that they had him kill Fogarty instead of his mother like in the novel. Maria Bello beautifully plays a loving mother and wife slowly devastated by the news of who her husband really is. Despite the news, she holds strong and keeps the family together. But the best performances are definitely from Ed Harris, Viggo Mortensen, and William Hurt. Ed Harris, as usual, radiates charisma on screen and is a terrifying antagonist. I wouldn't want to cross Ed Harris even on one of his good days. Viggo Mortensen perfectly switches from benevolent family man to killer. Just look at his eyes when he kills Richie. It is the moment you see 100% of Joey. In less than 10 minutes on screen, William Hurt shows that the quality of a performance is what makes you memorable, not the number of minutes on screen. A lot of actors could learn this lesson. His cold, judgmental, and blinking eyes, subtle facial movements, not revealing his true intentions or complete emotions, the control over his voice, his darkly comedic lines, and his Philadelphia accent all add to the legendary performance of Richie Cusack. Before answering the questions I posed at the beginning of this video, I want to mention a few elements about this movie. The sex scenes are perfect pieces of juxtaposition in film. I bet I caught your attention with that now, didn't I? Where one shows a beautiful and caring version of love, the other shows a selfish and hateful one. One is delicate, respectful, and funny, while the other results in Edie with bruises and is evidently violent. While in the staircase scene, Edie rides Joey hard and puts him away wet, leaving him in his own sweat and semen, like a prostitute moving on to her next client. The film also bears religious motifs and symbols. The fact that Joey is from Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, gives the story an ironic twist. Joey and Richie's history can even be seen as a story of Cain and Abel. Joey, although not a herder, represents Abel. He lives in the American Midwest, an area known for its livestock. Richie, although not a tiller of the soil, is the older brother and represents Cain, his connection to grain evident through the liquor he drinks. This version of the story ends with Abel killing Cain. Joey's crucifix seems to gleam in the light in times of high emotions. Sex with his wife, when he runs back home, believing that Fogarty is threatening to harm his family, and when he kills his brother. It makes his final appearance when he cleans himself in Richie's estate lake. Essentially, a baptism and his transformation back to Tom Stahl, hopefully free of a life of violence. The film does defend the argument that humans are doomed to return to their old ways of violence. Tom, who desperately tries to leave the mob life behind him, to the point that he does not even know his own past until his son is taken hostage by Fogarty, shows that a person with a history of violence can never escape and find redemption. One may think his consistent denial that he is Joey from Philly is just plain lying, but I genuinely believe that Tom believes the lie he has concocted. The scene where Fogarty reveals his weak eye and scarred face should have elicited a strong facial reaction or some kind of emotion from Joey. Instead, Tom just calmly remarks that he does not know the man and continues his work making polite small talk. If I ever used barbed wire to blind a guy, you can bet like hell that I would recognize him in a heartbeat the second he entered my diner, and I would automatically believe that he came to kill me. Jack, a person who never dabbled in anything as heinous as his father, proves the argument that violence is hereditary. While initially dealing with bullies very skillfully, it is not until after his father shoots the spree killers that Jack himself indulges in violence. What is more concerning is that he is good at it. Based on his attitude towards PE class, one can assume that he is not a jock, probably some nerdy, scrawny kid. Not true at all. He has a very good physique, can easily come up with a witty comment, and is a handsome kid. When he brutally beats Bobby and his friend, he is in full control of the fight. He quickly neutralizes Bobby's friend and absolutely wails on Bobby, not allowing him to throw a single punch, the same way Joey might have dealt with someone who insulted, crossed, or looked at him funny in Philadelphia. Jack is the one who kills Fogarty, instead of his mother like in the novel. This alteration in the material foreshadows Jack as the doomed offspring, destined to follow his father's evil past, a natural-born killer. Anytime that Jack appears to hold his father in admiration or sees him as the protector of the house is whenever his father has been or might be involved in violence. After Joey is released from the hospital and becomes an American hero, Jack is ecstatic that his father has reached fame. Coincidence that it is through killing. Jack sees his father's protective side when he sprints across town on an injured foot, ready to defend his family with a shotgun. After Joey kills Richie, the film ends with Jack passing his father food, a sign of respect. When Tom confronts Jack about his school fight, Jack is defensive, believing that he did nothing wrong, that Bobby deserved the beating, and is mad that his father does not support him. If you had not noticed, the only loving physical contact between Joey and Jack is the hug after the two characters kill together. It is clear that Jack likes Joey as a father better than kindly Tom. Mind you, a dad and his kid brutally killing members of the Irish mob is a better father bonding activity than what most families do. All those elitist prigs who take their hapless sons to go golfing because they have nothing better to do with 4 hours of their life. The only time I watch golfing is when that old douche got a heart attack from falling down, and I still laugh at that scene. Hard! I hope the next golfer gets run over when his cart's brakes fail. And I don't like anyone who plays ping pong or tennis either. I like F1 though. Go Haas! The reworks that David Cronenberg and writer Josh Olson made to tell a more restrained film stays with the audience long after they watch it. Needless to say, I would highly recommend this movie to anyone, and if you have 90 minutes to spare and want to be entertained with a quality movie, you won't go wrong watching A History of Violence. Thank you for watching.